What's up, family? Welcome in. I want to do something a little different today. I want to take you on a little journey. I want to share a tool with you that I think will be helpful. So whether you're working on deconstructing, maybe you're working on deprogramming, maybe you're working on reconstructing your life or reprogramming your life, or maybe you're just trying to transform. Literally, this is some of the stuff that I'm going to be talking about at the Rise event. But I want to share a tool with you that I've been using, a framework, if you will, a mental roadmap, a mind map. It's literally like a map of milestones, and I'm going to walk you through it. Now, none of this, as you all know, is a source of truth. This isn't any type of thing where like, hey, if you do these 4 things, your life is going to get perfect. This is more of like mental milestones to help you get from one spot to the next spot to the next spot. You might mix some of these up, or you might reshape the tool for yourself. I do that a lot of times. Like right now in this very room, as you can see, this is a garage. Garages aren't meant for this, but this is what I'm using my garage for. But then also on my lights, I have 2 wonderfully adaptable tripod stands that are meant to hold my cell phones. Now, what I use them for is actually to hold my bar light. So the tool was made for one thing, but I was able to use the tool for something else. So big point is, this is a tool, right? This isn't 7 steps to perfection, but these are 4 points to progress that I think will be really helpful. This is something I've been using ever since I deconstructed and deconverted back in 2014. All right, so let's jump into this without further ado. Well, let me kind of walk through it first. Let me give you all 4 of them. You're going to have discover, learn, develop, and do. And we're going to walk through these. This is my first time using this type of angly thing. So we're going to walk through these and hopefully you can get all of them in. These have been incredibly helpful for me in learning how to move from one step to the next step, to identify whatever is going on with me and to reshape, recalibrate, and get to the next step. Now, my life comes with a lot of changes. It comes with a lot of challenges. It comes with a lot of transitions. And so I've learned that I need to be neural. I need to be flexible. I need to be nimble. I need to be lean. But you know what? Jack be nimble. Jack be quick. Jack jumped over the candlestick, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee type of thing. So I realized I needed to realize not only that I needed to be, but that I was capable of being adaptable, that I was capable of adjusting, that I was capable of learning, adapting. It's all good stuff, right? So this process, this framework, this tool has helped me do this. So let's start with number 1. We're going to start with discover. Are y'all with me? We're going to start with discover. Now you'll see each one of these has a C word under it. I love words for whatever reason. I just love them. They help me communicate, right? But each one of these has a C word under it to help us get a better understanding of what we're doing. All right, so this is where I advise anybody to start. Any problem you have in your life, anything you're trying to overcome, anything you're wrestling with, anything you're trying to unpack, start in the discovery phase. Start here. What do I need to discover? What do I need to unpack? What do I need to explore? What do I need to learn more of? Discover. The whole point of the discover phase is to get clarity on where I am, to get clarity on what I know, to get clarity on what I don't know, man. This is where intelligence starts at. It's really figuring out where are the gaps of my knowledge? Where are the traps of my understanding? Where are the caps of my comprehension? I need to identify all of that before doing anything else. I need clarity on where I am, what I'm interested in, what I want to do. For me, let's use my deconstruction journey. I've often shared this story about right at the end of my deconstruction journey, right at the edge of me getting ready to say, you know what, I don't think I believe any of this anymore. Right at the edge of me getting ready to deconvert, I had this very odd experience. I was watching a documentary on, I think it was like the Discovery Channel or something. Some of you have probably seen this documentary, but it was about mermaids of all things. And I've been fascinated with, obsessed with mermaids, and probably a little sexual thing there too, ever since I was a kid. Ever since I saw the movie Splash, right? Daryl Hannah. Wow. You know what I'm saying? So I watched this documentary, and the documentary, at least back then, was overwhelmingly compelling. It was like, man, they had found these mermaids, and it was more so the aquatic ape theory, so they didn't really look like people. They looked like what apes would have looked like if they would have went back into the water and started going through like a reverse evolution. And I'm like, oh, this is my kind of interesting. So I'm all up in it. And I mean, I'm a very empathic person. So I am emotionally engaged by feeling like I'm one of the people who is getting the opportunity of witnessing this, mind-breaking revelation, and the world is changing right before my eyes. And I am 100% convinced that these people are telling the absolute truth, and that this is a real documentary, up until the point that the credits start rolling and you can see the actors' names. And then I was like, oh, damn. And so the mind-blowing revelation that I had, that your boy had at that moment, is, Darante, you have a propensity to believe bullshit, and you might want to get that checked out. That's where I was at that moment. Okay, yep, Darante, damn, bro, you believe bullshit. What else? Discover, what else do I believe bullshit about? All right, if I was able to be hook, line, and sinker that quick, I think it was just 45 to 60 minutes, and they had me. I believed that I had no good reason to, just an emotional attachment. I had no good reason to believe it. I just had an emotional attachment. And as soon as I became aware of that, it gave me permission to say what I needed to say. Darante, there's probably a bunch of other bullshit you believe too. Because I was really good at avoiding MLMs. I was really good at avoiding scams. It's just something about that dissonance, right? But when it came to church-related stuff, and in this case, things that actually resonated with my creativity, so mermaids, oh man, stuff that really resonated with my emotions and with my imaginations, I'd be more willing to put on those suspenders of disbelief. You know what I'm saying? So I had to go through a discovered phase. What else do I believe? What are some other things that my beliefs are actually based in bullshit? What are some other things that my beliefs are not grounded? They're not rooted in any type of reason. There's no comprehension to it. This is me getting clarity on myself. This is how I get to the place of taking one to run to the same way you just believe this testimonial about mermaids. How many testimonials in church have you believed? How many times have you just heard an elder pastor say, well, if you just do this, then this is how it works, and God does it that way? And then you just went out and started preaching the same thing. How much of your life, again, this is getting clarity, this is about discovering, how much of your life have you just jumped into the debate? How many times in your life did other people say, hey, trust me, and you did so? And this is the real thing. How many times in your life did you forsake the scientific method? Right? Because there is a process. There is a process. That's probably the most dishonest thing about superstitious frameworks, is that they make you believe that this shit is mysterious. That's the most disingenuous aspect about superstitious religion, superstitious frameworks, superstitious ideologies, because they completely separate you from the process that has already been verified. And I mean, quite honestly, I remind people constantly, the scientific method is not just for the lab, it is for our lives. All right? It is for our lives. So it's discovery, getting some clarity on what I believe, why I believe, what I'm doing, why I'm doing. That wasn't just look, I didn't just use this framework. I'm not just using this tool for my deconstruction and my religious beliefs. I was also using this tool for my deconstruction of my romantic beliefs, for my deconstruction of familial beliefs. Come on now, y'all, talk to me out there. For my deconstruction of financial beliefs. I had to discover and get some clarity. Y'all know I lost over 400 pounds. Look at your boy. Look at me now. Look at me now. I should put some before and after pictures up right now, but most of y'all have seen them. You've seen the clips of me preaching before. They're not that hard to find. Your boy is Googleable. You know what I'm saying? But no, I lost 400 pounds because I started here, discovered, why am I this big? How did I get here? And mind you, I've been big the majority of my life. I am smaller now than I was in high school. I'm smaller now. Hell, I may be smaller now than I was in middle school. But it started with getting some clarity about who I was, why I was, how I got there. Now, one thing about this process that I should have mentioned from the beginning, that is, you're going to have to practice the gospel of extreme responsibility in this one, okay? This is, I often encourage people like, hey, it can be anybody's fault you want it to be, but at the end of the day, it's going to be your responsibility, okay? So that's like this discovery phase, this clarity phase. It's not about what my mama did to me. It's not about what my daddy didn't do for me. It's not about how my family did. No, this is me. I'm discovering me. What did I do? How can I move differently? How can I change? Like for me, my discovery phase, one of the things that I got clarity on me about, is that I eat without reason. That was clarity for me, like, dang deep. And I'm gonna talk to y'all like I talk to me. It's like, bro, you eat like an animal. You're like, you eat with no reason. You eat like a Neanderthal. You know what I'm saying? You eat just because you smell something. You eat just because you see something. You eat just because you can touch something. Come on now, y'all talk to me. You eat just because you can taste something, but there is no reason that is actually attached to why you eat. And I chastise myself and I say, homie, you're too smart for that. So you really just gonna eat. Like I got a beautiful dog. His name is Aston. He's a beagle. His name is Aston. Our last name is Martin. I'm a little bougie like that, so his name is Aston Martin. But he's a beagle. And I don't know if you know anything about beagles, but them motherfuckers will eat just to eat, okay? They will eat just because food is present, which is why they tend to become obese dogs. And that was me. I was approaching, listen, with all this brain power, I was approaching my diet like a beagle. I was approaching my diet like a dog. I wasn't treating myself like I had a biology that I could understand. Like I had a biology that I could manipulate. Like I had a biology that I could manufacture the outcomes that I want. I wasn't treating myself like I was somebody who could be in somewhat control of who I am and my outcomes. Instead, I was a passenger in my own life. Jesus, take the wheel. Passenger in my own life and just hoping things would happen, right? Just hoping that you're going to lose weight while you're licking the plate after every meal. That's not going to get you where you want to go. For me, these are the type of conversations I have for myself. So I had to get real clear on why I was eating at that moment and what I needed to shift my eating habits to be about. And so like one simple decision I made is like, okay, so if eating, watch this, here we go. If eating is for sustaining energy, if eating is for having enough energy to do things that are important, to get things done, then if I am eating to the point of immobilization, then I am eating beyond the reason of eating. I am eating beyond the purpose of eating. I have gone too far. You get what I'm saying? It's that type of like you need to go straight to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Go straight to jail with that type of foolishness. Now, I'm not talking to you now. You may feel good about the way you eat. And if you do, I ain't mad at you. This was me. Okay. And when I did my discovery phase, I realized I was tired of being overweight. No, like, and when I say tired of being overweight, no, like literally tired. I couldn't walk up and down stairs without sweating. You know what I'm saying? It feels good to get some of that weight off. All right, so we got to move on to the next one. I didn't mean to stay there that long, but I hope this is helping somebody. All right, so the next one, and let me see if I can get us here, is learn. You know, now that you've done your discovery, now that you've gotten clear on where you are, now it's time to choose something to learn. You know, please don't skip this. You know, please don't skip the discovery phase thinking you're learning. But this is what a lot of people do. I'm going to come back up here. This is what a lot of people do. They skip discover and they just start either trying to learn or trying to develop, right? This is one of my biggest issues with the education system right now, especially the public education system, because it actually doesn't cater to a discovery phase, nor does it cater to a learning phase. From the time you get into kindergarten to the time you go through grad school, it is all development. They're not learning institutions. They're development institutions, okay? Oh, damn, this is good. All right. How do you know? Because development in most cases is always going to be instructor led. Discovery and learning is student led. It's the most active part of the educational process. It's the part where the student, the learner, the liver, you get what I'm saying? Is in the main seat. They're in the seat of control. I'm in control of what I'm discovering. I'm in control of what I'm getting clarity about, right? See, once I can do that, that's and like even when I've counseled people in the past who are going through difficult, we'll just say kind of like identity crisis of self. Crisis of self. What I've always encouraged them to do is to discover, unpack. Y'all have heard me talk about this. Unpack all of you. Just pour all of you out on the table. Good, bad, ugly, nasty, freaky, dirty, all that good stuff. Pour it all out on the table with no judgment. That's what discovery is all about. You're just trying to figure out everything that's in me. Everything that's in me. And once I have a non-judgmental relationship with me and all of me, then I can pick what I'm most curious about. And that's what gets us to the learning phase. All right? So now that I've done my discovery and my clarity, bang. What am I curious about? Now I've been looking at all of this on the table. What am I curious about? Right? Because that's what's going to sustain my learning interest. What I'm learning should be connected to my curiosity. All right? See, if you're learning something just because it's trending, you're robbing yourself. Oh, man. If you're learning something just because it's trending, you're robbing yourself, and you're likely not going to make it through the rest of this list. Okay? And so this is when discovery and clarity becomes absolutely important, critical even. Okay? Because once you get clarity on you, then the rest of this journey is really truly you. Okay, so now that I've gotten clarity on me, what am I curious about, right? What am I curious about? And that's going to determine my path of learning. What do I need to learn? Okay, so for me, my deconstruction journey, once I realized that, oh damn, I discovered I believe bullshit. And I discovered that I believed a lot of bullshit. And it wasn't just within my religion. I believe bullshit because of church. I believe bullshit because of politics. I believe bullshit because of culture. And I believe bullshit because of media. All of these things and probably some other things had played a heavy role in my business belief bullshit. But I had actually groomed myself to do so. I had groomed myself to believe family members that I knew were lying ever since I was a child. And then, of course, other family members encourage you and groom you to do the same thing, even though they know them motherfuckers lying, right? So I kind of did it to myself, but that's clarity. Clarity helped me get through all of that. So once I realized that, then what am I curious about now, Darante? Darante, you now realize your whole belief system is not true, and your life is not really based in reason. What are you curious about now? And you get to see the product of all of that because I'm building it all up now. That's what I've been working on for the past 10 years, is exploring what I'm curious in. So now let's also look at my food journey, my weight loss journey. Okay, so I discovered that I don't know why to eat or that I'm not eating aligned with good reasons to eat. So what am I curious about now? What I'm curious about now is what I need to do to become the person that I want to be physically, And that's what I started doing. I started learning more so about what I actually needed to eat and what I didn't need to eat. Now, I do not define myself as a health specialist, health guru, or anything like that. I still eat pretty recklessly, but I just started following some basic rules because it was just based on my own curiosity. I'm not trying to be Arnold Schwarzenegger or nothing like that. I just wanted to live a little longer. That'd be nice. But I also wanted to be able to actually engage with my children, because at that time they were all very young. And I'm like, dang, everything we do is going to kill me, like literally. So I had to do something different. So I just started putting some very simple rules in my life. And y'all have heard me talk. They're so simple. It makes people mad sometimes. They think I'm lying. But one of the things was I realized because started learning some things like soda was empty calories, and I drink a lot of sodas. I drink more than I eat, more than I ate. Like if you went to a restaurant with me, I'd likely have 8 or 9 refills of soda. Shirley Temple at that, Sprite with the cherry lemonade, cherry sauce in it, with the cherries in it. And I had like 9 or 10 of those before the food is come. And then I'm going to have some more refills while we're there. And a lot of that came out of my poverty. It's like, no, I'm here, I'm going to get my money's worth type of thinking. And so I had to do a lot of unpacking there. Do you see how the thing works? So it's once I get clear on, it's always trying to lead me. Why are you leading me? Okay, get back over here. That's my grandma, y'all. Once I get clear, let me get back over here. Then I need to get curious. Okay? Get clear, get curious. Discover, learn. I started learning things about my health. I started learning things, as far as what got me to the OD World Group, Bread City, and all the stuff that we're doing on YouTube. I started allowing for my curious phase, and this is good. I think this is going to be good for somebody, especially for the deconstructing stuff. For my curious phase, for hearing you, what I allowed myself to do since I've gotten clear that I don't believe any of this stuff. Okay, I try really hard. This is why I'm unmoved when other people are like, well, you would just never really say, whatever. Doesn't bother me at all times because most of the time you're fucking posing. Okay? How many people did you pray for at 4 o'clock in the morning? How many times did you get out of your bed to go to the hospital to pray for people who have been shot? How many times? Okay? How many food drives did you organize? How many homeless giveaways did you personally oversee? No. How many revivals did you lead? How many people did you lay hands on and they fell out? You ever did this number? And a whole bunch of people fall out? Don't play with me. Check my resume. No, see, I tried really, really, really hard. Tried really hard. I kept my suspenders of disbelief on for so damn long them motherfuckers was crusty, okay? No, I tried. So I'm not moved by that. So when I came out of my clarity phase, my next phase was to give myself permission to go back and be curious about all those things I was curious about along the way. Oh man, see, this is real deconstruction. This is real deconstruction right here. I went back and started answering every question because here's the thing. The questions were always there. I always tell people I was a believer on credit, man. The questions were always there. After I came out of my clarity phase, I was able to give myself permission to go and get curious about those questions. And that's what guides my content today. My content is not your questions, it's my questions. Oh my goodness, this is so good. All right, so now I've picked something that I'm going to be curious about. And just to be honest, just to be absolutely transparent with you, what I really got curious about is how to improve the world, global progress. When you hear me talk, when you look at the things that I'm working on, what I am absolutely concerned about is global humanity, okay? I didn't see enough people with that concern, and I said, that'll be my seat. I know everybody has to have their one thing that's important to them. My one thing is the whole thing, okay? So that's why some of you are like, how can you be so interested in so many different things? How can you have so much knowledge in so many different areas? Because I am taking a global perspective. And of course, my background is sociology. And that's why it's sociology, right? When I went to college, I was looking for something that was already in alignment with my worldview. I already had a career before I went to college. I've had my career since I was 16 years old. Okay? So I had a career before I went to college. So by the time I did go to college, which I went 4 years later, by the time I did go to college, I was looking for something that was in alignment with my pastoral career. And the first thing I chose was secondary education, primarily because I wanted to actually teach college. You can kind of tell, but I wanted to teach on a collegiate level. And I'd start in secondary education, maybe one day get an administrative position, and then eventually cross over into the, So, dang, I almost forgot what I was doing. So, big point is I ended up switching my degree to sociology. And I wasn't even thinking sociology was going to be that great. Like, I ended up falling in love with sociology. I got my degree in sociology because I fell in love with industrial organizational psychology. Industrial organizational psychology was all the rave at that time in the church world, and we didn't even know it. But it was stuff we were teaching at church leadership conferences and stuff like that. And once I found that connection, that was my door into sociology. So anyway, I got all of this allowed me to get curious, okay? It allowed me to get curious and start answering those questions. And the thing that I got curious about was global progress, global social change. How do we move forward as a species? And that's the journey that I committed to for the next decade of my life. And I talk a little bit about that in my book, Black Non-Believer, Next Door, Shameless Love. All right, so now that we pick the thing that we're going to be curious about, the thing that we're going to be committed to learning. So the thing that I was committed to learning, and my wife can testify to this, I was committed to learning world leadership, global leadership. And basically what that meant was I'm studying everybody who's ever aimed that high before, everybody that I could, and to see what their thoughts were. What did they argue about? What were their principles? What were their pitfalls? What were their practices? I'm looking at all of that stuff. Now, excuse me, the next is develop. All right, I've discovered, I've learned. Now I need to develop something. All right, so this is what this is about: is moving from clarity to curiosity. I got something to be curious about. Now I want to develop my curiosity so that it becomes comprehension. Okay, comprehension comes through development. All right, I'm actually working on something. So learning is maybe I'm reading some things, maybe I'm watching some things, but the whole purpose of learning is to eventually start doing some things. There's like 2 phases of learning, all right? And that's monkey see, hit monkey do. You get me? So I'm learning some things that I'm curious about. I'm following some rabbit trails. Going down those holes, I'm following those squirrels. I'm being as broad as I can with learning because I'm very curious about this subject, and curiosity is a driver. And that's why you want to get clarity, so you know what you're curious about, because curiosity is an absolute driver. It is a monster of a driver. You've seen it. You've gotten curious about something before and have stayed on your phone or laptop for hours, probably damn near a whole day, trying to find the end of that trail. That's how powerful curiosity is. So don't let it be an accident. I'm trying to show you how to hack your curiosity and use it for your best interest. Okay, so now that you're curious, do something with it. What can I develop here? All right, because this is how I really get comprehension. This is how I really get an understanding of what it is that I'm learning. I need to do something with it. I need to test this. I need to develop something. Do something. All right. So, my one thing is the whole thing. So there are a lot of things that I can do, because I realize that as this thing continues to grow, there are always, until we get to like a really beautiful point, there are always going to be things that we're missing. All right. And if something we're missing is something that I can feel in, I'm gonna do it. Because that's how big of a deal. Here it is. This is kind of a big deal. That's how big of a deal this is for me. So I learned early I knew early back in 2017 that I knew media and tech was going to be a major part of what I needed to do to accomplish many of my goals. And while I knew the chances of me becoming some master computer programmer were not high, I knew that I was going to need to understand the language. I knew that I was going to need to understand the culture and the terminology of computer programming to even communicate what I want to do, or to even know what is feasible or likely feasible with what I want to do with tech, and to even be able to hire the right people later on. So in 2017, I started teaching myself how to program, all right? Because again, I had gotten clarity, I had gotten curious about what I wanted to do, how I wanted to make impact, and now that curiosity was leading me to development, which helped me get a better comprehension. And in this case, what I actually started developing was programs. Everything you see today is just an iteration of something I've done before. And much of the stuff you see from me today is much simpler than the stuff that I was designing in the beginning, because in the beginning, I was just trying to see what I could do. I was building Netflix type stuff. because I'm me first. We'll talk about that later. But so development leads to comprehension. I am working on something. I'm doing something with what I've learned. I'm transforming my curiosity into comprehension. This is where I'm getting some level of understanding. I'm moving into that level of mastery just because I'm developing it now, you know? And then last but not least, not this stuff. This is where you get certainty. This is where you get the certainty. Okay? So now watch this. Let's try and walk this backwards. So when someone tells me that they are certain on something, I typically ask them what have they done. That has led them to that certainty. Not what have they learned. Not even what have they discovered. What have they done? Because I can't get the certainty without testing. What have you done? You see how protected? You see how protected this tool is, how protected this framework is? Because this is what it helped me realize. Let's start back at the beginning when we were talking about the mermaid and stuff. Okay? When we were talking about this mermaid situation, what I realized is that while watching a documentary, I became convinced. I got to the level of certainty after watching a documentary. This framework reminds me that any certainty that I've assigned myself, where I haven't actually done anything to get that certainty, is falsely assigned. It's malassigned. Is that a word, malassigned? Oh, malaise. I like that. Malassigned, you know? So if I am certain, my certainty needs to be connected to something that I have done. And I've not done something, I can't say that I'm certain. All right? Same thing with comprehension. Let's go back over here. Develop. You know, if I've not developed something with what I've learned, I can't truly say that I comprehend it. I can say I think I comprehend it. I think I might get it. But until I develop something, no, I don't have that yet. I don't have that comprehension yet. So ooh, this is good. This is good. A great way to look at this is, okay, so clarity, I'm overweight and I don't have to be. I have more control over this than I think I do. I can pay attention to the fact, like, because I've worked in offices for a very long time, that I have a sedentary lifestyle. And so I need to offset that somehow. That our ancestors had a very active lifestyle. It was very easy for them to be fit because being fit was just how you lived. Work was different back then. And surviving meant, you know, running really, really fast at times. Okay. So every day was track day. Okay. I didn't do track when we had track. All right. So, so you get clear. I got clear. I'm overweight. I'm big. I can control this. There's some things I can do about this. I got curious. What are the things that I can do about this? The development, watching the cows fall off. Mm-hmm. The development, okay, B, instead of drinking sodas, because I also drink alcohol, you know, instead of drinking sodas, no more sodas during the day. Only water all day long. Water all day long, and at night you can have some beer. Yeah? See how that works? Made an incredible difference, okay? Hey, you're at your desk all day, every day. Back then, I was smoking cigarettes as well. I don't smoke cigarettes anymore. Yay me. Every time you get up to do a smoke break, turn it into a step break. All right, so I'm stepping every day because I'm getting clear and curious, and I'm starting to develop, which is giving me comprehension. And while I'm developing, I'm realizing, hey, D, you're 580 pounds. So it is not in your best interest to go out here and try to run a mile every day. All right. It will kill you at worst. And this is something that overweight people have to be mindful of. It will kill you at worst. Okay. And at best, it will demotivate you. You'll get out there, realize how tired you are, and you'll stop after 3 days because it's just going to feel impossible. You know, because you set a goal that actually isn't in alignment with what you've discovered and with what you've learned and with what you've developed. But because I treated me like an individual, I'm nobody else, I'm me. That's why I can't skip this process. Remember, this whole thing is you led. It's about getting you back in the driver's seat. It's not what I'm discovering about the world. It's what I'm discovering about me. It's not what I'm learning about the world. It's about what I'm learning about me. It's about what I'm developing in me. And that's how you get there, right? You say, I'm curious. You're curious, and what are you learning? How are you curious and you're not learning? It's a little practice I do with my kids. They'll say, Dad, I wonder such and such. I wonder what such and such does. And I said, that's funny. Because I feel like if you were really curious about that, you'd ask a better source. You know what I'm saying? I want you to think about that. This is why, like, again, I don't always engage people the way that many of my other contemporaries do. Because I don't think people are that serious. Like when a person comes to me as an atheist with an academic background in sociology and asks me to explain cosmology, what I understand immediately, whether you do or not, what I understand immediately is that person does not have a genuine interest in cosmology. They asked a bad source. This is why I refuse to debate Kent Hovind on evolutionary biology. Why would you invite a sociologist to have a conversation on evolutionary biology? This is not genuine curiosity. This is not an attempt at genuine comprehension. Do you see how powerful this tool is? Once you kind of, this thing, it helps me navigate so much. Clarity. You want clarity? What are you willing to discover about yourself? What are you willing to walk through? What are you willing to unpack? And at Rise, this month, that's what we're going to be dealing with. How to unpack and how to repack so you can take flight. I hope I said something today that is valuable for you, that you can use in your life. These are tools that I use in mine, and I hope that it's been valuable for you. All right, that's all I have for now. Until next time, keep rising.